Because it's Tuesday, we like to rank things. A little segment we call the pecking order. And I think everything we just talked about kind of flows nicely into, we do this, I don't know, for sure once a year, sometimes twice a year, but it is time for the Minnesota organizational power rankings in terms of how close or likely are they to win a championship. And before we get any pushback on this, and before Declan gets smoked on social media, am I okay in saying these are the four major longtime men's professional teams that have been around for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, or in terms of the Wild for, go back to the North Stars heritage. This is Timberwolves, Twins, Vikings, Wild. Is that what this is a Judd pecking order here. So are those the four teams that you have ranked?
Yes, that is correct. And I'm glad
all due
that
respect,
you said that.
We love Minnesota United. They are partners of ours on 1500 ESPN. The Minnesota Lynx are dynastic in their history. The Gophers, we appreciate everyone, okay? But this is for the Timberwolves, the Twins, the Vikings, and the Wild.
Yes.
Okay, do you have any other parameters to put on this before you
Yes.
rank them?
I did this also largely based on my confidence too. So like it's championship contention window, but more so like my confidence in looking at what you're doing right now from an executive and probably coaching standpoint and saying, I like how you are positioning yourselves. Because I feel that that's extremely important because like you can make a run or like we're going to go for it, but do I really like where things are at, and do I think that you're being smart? Because there is definitely a formula for the most part for how you should build a team. And so this is largely based on not just championship opportunity, but also right now, my confidence in what you're doing. Are you dumb? Are you smart? Can we make sense of your moves?
Okay.
That's my disclaimer.
Okay.
All right.
Let's count them down. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up here. I've got my own too. So I'll counter yours, or I don't know. We'll see. See what happens.
All right. Starting at the bottom. This is going to be, and I know there's going to be pushback here. And by the way, I love it. But there's going to be a lot of folks right now who are like, this is typical Zolgan. Typical Zolgan. He just did a typical SKOR North thing in segment 1, and now he's going to Bigfoot this too. And that's not true. This is just how I feel. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 4 franchise is the Twins. They are in first place. In a bad division, but they are. But you know what? Again, I said my key parameter is this, my confidence. And until I see Derek Falvey, and yes, I'm going to put it all on him. I'm tired of this. Oh, Thad Levine got involved. I don't know who gets involved. Derek Falvey has the title. Until I see him make a move at the deadline for pitching help, I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence. Look, he's made some good moves. He has certainly made some questionable moves. But you know what he's never done? He's never looked at a team going well and said, we need to move right now at the deadline. He's never done it. I'm sorry. Sam Dyson, don't count. Sergio Romo, don't count. I lack confidence. And I am slowly getting a sinking feeling again that we're going to find an excuse. Well, we couldn't get that guy. Look at the price, right?
They didn't call us back.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't call us back.
I've heard
That's
that
a great one.
in multiple different seasons as, I don't know if you call it an excuse or whatever, but well, we were interested, but it takes two to tango, and they just weren't really engaging us. Well, give them a reason to engage you. Why aren't they engaging you?
100%.
Like they'll engage you if you give them a reason to engage you.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating though, but I mean, if you don't want to make the trade because you're a prospect hoarder, I'd rather hear that than they didn't call us back. Like that was one of the most that was the biggest the dog ate my homework thing I've ever heard. Well, they didn't call us back. Huh? All right. So 4 is the Twins. 3, the Vikings. I don't like the fact that they are bringing so many pieces back, but I do like this. The evolving philosophies, and I do think things are going to change a lot in how things are seen. And so I think for me, they're 3 because I don't know yet, but I'm going to give it time. Like, we don't know. Kwesi has certainly worked in the league for a while now, but he has not had this job before. KOC hasn't coached a game, at least as the head coach, a day in his life. So, like, there's a lot of unknowns here. There are definitely things I appreciate and like, though. So I actually put them ahead of the Twins because the Twins, unfortunately, I feel like have lost my confidence. The Vikings, we haven't been down the path yet enough for me to pass judgment. So the Vikings is probably as close to an incomplete as I can get.
Okay.
I just don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Dex. I'll withhold most of my comments because I have rankings myself, so I'll chime in a little here. Dex, if you have a comment, chime in.
The only thing with the Twins on fourth is it's just I get that you're not confident they're going to make the move because you laid out the exact groundwork of they've never done it before, but they are in first place, and as it's constructed right now, they're the only team playing, and they're the only team that has a chance to legitimately be a playoff team that we know right now because they're in first place. So I think to have them last, I don't think is necessarily fair, but you're basing this more on confidence than you are logistics, too.
I will say this right now. As far as the championship goes, right now, with the Twins playing in first place, 0% chance, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They have no chance. None.
For championship. Yeah, we're not talking about can they beat a team in a series or win a playoff game.
No, I'm saying, like, if you are asking me, do I see the Twins being on the path for a championship? 0% chance.
Agreed.
And my guess, Correa's gone, and so it gets worse. Like, you were gifted this player, and right now there's a chance that you are going to say, "Oh yeah, but we can't do that."
Yeah, well, there's also a chance that they could finally snap out of it and say, "All right, we're trading for 3 pitchers. Enough of this BS. And we have Carlos Correa," and one way or another in the next 3 weeks they will answer that question.
Correct. Number 2 on my list. Now, this is going to contradict the Vikings thing, but I will tell you why. In my opinion, it's different. Number 2 on my list, the Timberwolves, Tim Conley. Yes, he's new, but you know what? He's been doing this job a long time. Kwesi has not. So, like, this is not an indictment on Kwesi, but Tim Conley came here after doing the same job and not having unbelievable success, but certainly having success in Denver. And the Gobert trade might be controversial, but I'm going to tell you, I love the decisiveness with how it was done. There didn't seem to be a wavering of, whoa, what should we do? I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think? Larry, what do you think? I'm going to go downstairs and check with the garbage man what he thinks. Tim Conley and a very, I think, small group of people made a decision. Right or wrong, I liked how it was bold. I also liked the fact that they did it flying in the face of, but the rest of the league isn't doing that. And he's like, well, yeah, but the rest of the league doesn't have a talent of Karl Anthony Towns, who, by the way, we need to make as good as possible. There's just a lot of things in what Conley did that I like the confidence, and I like the fact that he didn't allow it to be guided by the rest of the league hates that move. They don't do that, or a sense of, I don't know about that. There was a lot of, he got the job, and right or wrong, decided exactly what he thought. I admire that, and he's not a newbie, too. And,
I have so many takes right now, but I'm going to save them because I love this. This is great.
And number 1, of course, we just discussed it, the Wild. Bill Guerin is building organizational depth, which is how you build a team. He's doing it right. And again, I will come back to, before you throw the Suter and Parisi buyouts in my face, people don't understand you were going to pay the price for those the day you sign those contracts. The contracts, the 13-year contracts, were predicated on winning a Stanley Cup and not caring right now. You could say, the Chicago Blackhawks are a mess. What a joke. What a dumpster fire.
They won cups.
They won cups. Exactly right. And if we had a couple of cups or a cup, I think we'd say, okay, cool, that's fine. So the moves were based on a good faith act that didn't work out. But if you look at the drafts, the Wild's franchise, and if you go back and examine how their Iowa AHL affiliate did with Chuck Fletcher as the Wild GM, that team was terrible. They had nobody. They were backfilling with veteran slappies who were just hoping to earn a paycheck. Now it's filled with kids. They are developed. This is how you do it. So, Wild 1, Wolves 2, Vikings 3, Twins 4.
Wow. Great work. That's awesome list. I think the one thing that's evident is that these 4 teams, you can kind of make a case for all 4 of these teams that, hey, they're onto something, or there's definitely things to nitpick with all of them too, but none of these organizations are in dumpster fire mode as they've been at times. There's been times we've done these lists and the Timberwolves are in dumpster fire mode, or the Wild are bailing water trying to figure out how to sneak in as the 7 or the 8 seed or something, right? So I also have put together my sports organizational pecking order, and I have all 4 teams in 4 different slots than you do.
Nice.
This is awesome.
And I was looking at my list as you're going along thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. So I have all 4 teams in 4 different slots, and I have takes. We're going to get to that in just a second. But once you pull that purple candle out and show the audience, we've got a great gift. Sometimes it's hard to think of gift ideas.
Yep.
I'm terrible at them.
This is where we're here to help on Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily.
And right now you're saying, Judd, what is that? I'm going to tell you right now, this is what we are calling Judd's Purple Positivity Candle, brought to you by our friends at Spiral Light Candles. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you, the aroma, fantastic. They will make your house smell fresh as possible. We've got these candles throughout our house because they have absolutely made our house smell fantastic. But beyond that, the Purple Positivity Candle, get it and burn it during a Vikings game as almost a seance to drive the demons of past years away and to bring on a championship. How? As simple as this. Go to spirallightcandles.com, spirallightcandles.com. They are made locally, so the shipping is quick. Spirallightcandles.com. Check out their site. These candles are extremely cool. They are a great gift for, your wife, your mom, or heck, for you. SpiralLightCandles.com, and make sure, if you're a Vikings fan, you've got the Purple Positivity Candle to kick off the season.
And later this month, the Federated Challenge takes place again, which helps raise millions of dollars a year for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And one of the benefits of Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Federated Challenge pool of donations is that the Federated Challenge Scholarship Program provides up to $5,000 in financial support to qualified littles or high school bigs who are enrolled in non-4-year programs focusing on apprenticeship, trade school, technical or community college. So all sorts of great benefits like this that come out of the Federated Challenge. Find out how you can help or maybe be a big yourself at federatedchallenge.org. All right. Let's start at the bottom, work our way up.
Nice.
I hate that I'm doing this, but I have the Wild 4th right now. And it's not that they're a dumpster fire or anything like that. But if you look at the landscape right now, how likely is it that these 4 teams are going to win championships? Well, the Wild's best player is stuck in Russia, and it's a big problem. Mm-hmm. They just traded their second best scorer, and their 2 starting goalies are an average of like 37 years old, and one of them is angry. So I agree with everything you're saying that I love Bill Guerin. They seem like they're set up for a nice little 5 to 7 to 8 year window of competing. But it feels like in this current moment on July 12th, 2022, there's just a lot of things that they need to deal with. Now, the nature of the sport is such that you could maybe take a step back in the regular season and still maybe go further in the playoffs based on a matchup being better or a goalie getting hot or something. But I have the Wild 4th right now because their best player is stuck in Russia, their goalies are old, and they just traded Kevin Fiala. I need to see a little bit more here before I bump them back up the ladder, all right? And feel free to chime in here and fight with me if you guys want.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think the Wild are still a playoff team, but again, I'm more looking at the logistics of it's still going to be tough to replace the things you just said, and it's a whole new season again. Marc-Andre Fleury could absolutely train wreck. I have more agreement on Mackey putting them 4th than Judd putting them number 1.
No. Yep. And to be clear, mine were done more with confidence of just where things are going. I don't think any of these 4 are near a championship. So, I just don't see it. I think if you are building things right, that's awesome and that's smart. But I don't think that any of these 4 are close to a championship. Playoffs, absolutely. Playoff run, like a nice little run, absolutely. But a championship, sorry.
Yeah, there's a gap there. I think sometimes in Minnesota, we just, based on what's happened the last 30 years, we think you could just get in and see what happens. That's usually not how it works.
It sounds good.
Sports, yeah. It's a way to make yourself feel like you're closer than you really are. Number 3, I have the Twins. So I think the biggest problem, and you went over some of this stuff, is show me a team that won a World Series that either A, wasn't just a ready-made 100-win team out of the box in April, like the Dodgers were. They did all their work in the offseason, and they have a $250 million payroll, and they're just ready to rock. Yankees, because they can spend all that money. The season starts, and you are a 100-win team, and maybe you add something, but you're ready-made. The Twins aren't in that category. So the second category would be, okay, teams that are good and then go all in, and they're aggressive at the trade deadline, like the Braves, for instance. All right, we're going to go remake our outfield and get a couple relievers in here. The Twins traditionally haven't fit into either one of those categories. They're very rarely just a 100-win team out of the gate, and they're very rarely, pretty much never, bold at the trade deadline. And that's why they haven't won a playoff game, in part. Luck is part of it too, but you're not creating your own luck when you're not aggressive at the deadline. So they have a lot of ingredients. They got Buxton, Correa, Duran, Sonny Gray, but as currently constructed, there is zero chance they plow through the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers in the month of October. Zero chance.
And I think the thing about the Twins championship potential that frustrates me is this, because I don't see it changing. I don't think they have a sense of timing. I don't think that they ever say, oh my God, Jose Barrios is lights out. You know what? Let's let him go as long as possible because it's a playoff game against Houston and we have to win it, right? And if that day, if you had said, screw our philosophies, guys, this guy is pitching great. That's a sense of timing to me. It's always the fundamentals. It's like we microwave this for 2 minutes and that's what we do. It's but it really needs to be less than that or something. So anyway, yeah, I'm with you. I have zero confidence that the Twins are anywhere close to an actual championship.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Number 2.
Yep.
The Minnesota Vikings. What I love about the Vikings is they finally have an offensive-minded, modern-thinking coach that we had on Purple Daily yesterday for 20 minutes. Kevin O'Connell was great. They have an analytically minded general manager who has brought in traditional scouting minds to also be around him in the front office. They have some great young talent, Justin Jefferson. I think they have some great young secondary players. My biggest questions are, what are they great at right now? They have a good quarterback, not great. They have an offensive line that's hoping to be good for the first time in a while. Their defense is maybe going to get back to being pretty good. There's a lot of pressure on Kevin O'Connell to take some good things, some 8 or 9 win ingredients, and make it 12 wins and make it winning on the road in the playoffs or something. So if Kevin O'Connell can take this collection to new heights, then we've got something. But I also feel confident that if they go back to the 8 or 9 win thing again in 2022, that they'll just look for the next starting quarterback on a rookie scale contract and they'll get it rolling. So I feel good about the brain trust right now, and I feel good about some of the good young players. Brian O'Neill at right tackle, Christian Darrisaw at left tackle. I don't think they're on the doorstep of winning a Super Bowl, but I also don't think the Wild or the Twins are on the doorstep of winning their championships either. So I have the Vikings number 2.
Could their pass rush be great?
It could be,
And it has to be.
If those two guys, and
could be.
It's a huge if those two guys can stay on the field, I think that's the one thing I think could be a nightmare for opposing teams.
Yep, that's accurate. And that means the number 1 team in my organizational confidence pecking order here is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And man, this changed very quickly.
Unbelievable.
You bring in one of the best executives in the... All right.
Howl towel.
Okay.
Howl.
You got to do it.
Let me get the shoe off.
You got to get the shoe off. You got to get the howl towel
Shoes
out.
off, game's over. Let's get it.
Thanks, Mark Laurie.
Let's get it. Yeah. So, in the NBA, the hardest thing to do is to find the superstar caliber franchise players. Some teams go. The Timberwolves. Maybe they thought they had it with Kevin Love for a minute post KG, but he turned out to not really be it. But it takes some franchises decades to find guys like Anthony Edwards. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is the number 1, but my God, he's this uniquely, generationally talented 7-foot shooter, dribbler, passer, everything. And now they just brought in one of the greatest defensive players in modern NBA history. So they have found now how well they play off each other and stuff, it all remains to be seen, but they have found the superstar talent players that so many teams can't find. And I think from ownership now, and I'm not talking about Glenn, I'm talking about the new guys who've, even as minority owners, have been put in some pretty high-profile decision-making positions. From front office ownership to front office down to the coach, it feels like everything is kind of aligning, and now they have a lot of talent on the roster. So the NBA is a freaking gauntlet, and right now they're not anywhere near favorites to win a championship, but if Anthony Edwards continues to be the player that we think he can be, and they've got some really good decision makers up and down and a good coach, then for the first time in almost 20 years, this thing's ready to pop for the Timberwolves. So Timberwolves 1, Vikings 2, 3 Twins, 4 Wild.
Wow.
That's very fair.
Wow.
Like, I don't completely agree, but it's completely fair too. And look, I think the biggest talking point about from the last time, which is a while ago now that we did this exercise, is very simple. It's the evolution of the Wolves to me. Like, that is exactly right. Mm-hmm. When you think about the fact that it now appears that, beyond like flip, for the first time in how long there is competency. There is a guy in Conley in charge who gets it. There's a stabilizing force in Finch. This is such a breath of fresh air, and with Glenn slowly but surely moving out. This is it's going to be so much more fun to actually watch these guys, talk about them, and take them seriously. And I really do think that this team now is in for, knock on wood again, a prolonged period of being at least taken very seriously.
Yep.
It's actually funny too, because we all have my number one is the Vikings still, just because I think the path to get there is the easiest of this four. I love what the Wolves are doing. I think it's going to be awesome. Judd's point. I think they're on the path to being contenders and at least being respected in the Western Conference for the first time in 20 years. The Twins are in playoff position, but I have so much Twins PTSD that I do not trust it at all.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And the Wild, it's going to be so difficult with the buyouts, and I just don't know starting a new season fresh. And I think the Vikings still in the NFC being still open, in my opinion. I think it's more open of the other three respective conferences that these other teams are competing in. I have the Vikings one, but it is interchangeable. Like I think the fact all three of us have different number ones goes to show that it really could be honestly any of these teams.
Yeah, and you could probably, the only team that we didn't put number one among the three of us, you could probably make a case, well, the Twins, like Declan said, they're in first place. If they make a couple trades in a couple months or in a couple weeks, then okay, because they have a lot of interesting pieces. So it in general, pretty good time to be a Minnesota sports fan here. A lot of things to be excited about here. And for Judd to pour cold water on the show. Yep. Be great.
Absolutely not. No. No, are you
Judd?
kidding? I'm Mr. Positivity right now. I'm Mr.
You were
Positivity.
today. Yeah,
I
you
just
were
brought
today.
a ton of positivity.
You got Malcolm into the Wild, for God's sake.
Gino. Anybody seen Gino? No, I've been very positive.
Yeah. If you want to hear Kevin O'Connell was great on Purple Daily yesterday, so definitely check that out if you missed it, and write that down, predictions and an accountability session tomorrow on Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily. See you guys.